Saggy, as I was preparing to do your reading, that's interesting, I got a channeled message which was don't mix the paint colours. I know they are always weird. My channeled messages are always weird and they're always a little bit kind of practical on some level. So I sort of was thinking, because obviously you're ruled by Jupiter, as am I, because I'm Pisces. And we like to smudge the colours, don't we? We like to do all sorts. We like to not colour in between the lines. But there's something that requires your attention that also requires you to maybe behave in an un-Sagittarius-like manner, which for me would be sort of more down the Jobsworth route, you know, like I'm going to stay very focused to this, I'm going to stick just to this. Not to say that you can't stick to things, it's just the way you do them is normally more intuitive, you're open to spontaneity and mess, and you might need to sort of draw the horns in and say, what is this that's right under my nose? The oracle card I got for you was deep quiet, meditation and stillness. So something or someone requires your attention. Some of you may be aware of what it is. It may be quite obvious. It might be in the 3D. You're like, yep, I need to do X. I'm training to do this at work. Or I need to clarify my relationship with Y. You know, whatever it is. Some of you may not clearly in the 3D know what it is and therefore have more of a sense of there is something, but it's on the down low and I do not know how to access it. Either way, this is a good idea. I've never met a Sagittarius who wasn't very good at meditation or who hadn't done stuff to do with weird things, you know, like meditation retreats, or not that they're weird things, but they're kind of weird things to me, weirdly. I'm quite conventional in lots of ways. Even though I'm a tarot reader, I'm quite conventional, but my Sagittarian friends aren't. They're like, yeah, I did this life constellations thing with this weird guy and it was amazing and I learn a lot from them. So, you know those weird things that you do sometimes, go and do them. Because this is not particularly readily available to you to know what it is. We're going to throw some tarot cards. We'll have a little drill down. But whatever... Oh, that one wants to come out. Just a second. Ooh, yes. Unmarked trail, revelation. Now, if you do that, you will get that. That's quite straightforward in a way. But let's see what the tarot has to say about it, shall we? What do we need to know for my lovely Saggy? And then after that, I will look at love and relationships. Oh, these are stiff, as the actress said to the bishop. Try and do them in threes. Got any Aussies in the house? I'm still watching Australian MasterChef. I went back and watched it from the beginning, like 2007 or something. Brilliant. I'll give it a red hot crack. Get it on the hibachi. I love that. I'm just going to cook those finger limes on the hibachi. Oh. Okay, let's take 3 cards. I love it when you get the Queen of Wands. Love it. I love it when you get the Queen of Wands. That's my Kenny Dalglish impression. When you know, you know. Okay. God, you keep getting that card as well. Page of Swords. A little bit of knowing. Isn't that an amazing Page of Swords, by the way? This is the, because I think it's quite a Saggy deck. Sarsaparilla Tarot, because everybody always asks me loads when I use this one. Sarsaparilla Tarot by Hattie Thorne, and there is how to find it. It's quite new. So we've got our Page of Swords, which means that we have like the cusp of an idea or a little bit of information or somebody said something, or you've got a whiff of something. You know, there's a, on the breeze. It's like, I sniff something. Okay, I know there is more to this, but I don't know. It's giving me an itchy nose now, but I don't know what it is. Okay. Page of Swords is when somebody has said, maybe sent a text, but they haven't broadened it out and followed up. And you're like, well, what do they mean by that? Where are we going with that? Focus in. Okay. Then we get the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is very, very much for me, Sagittarius. It's you when there are no F's given. And you're absolutely, I particularly like this one because it's very sort of eccentric and bubblegummy. I thought that was a traffic cone. Where I live, the university students kind of like putting traffic cones on anything they can put a traffic cone on. So it kind of reminds me of that. But either way, it's like our sugar candy cane, Queen of Wands. Here she is, but don't underestimate her. Whatever this situation is for you, you have more power than somebody would like you to have. Now, for some of you, this could be a situation that's been rumbling on for absolutely ages, like a couple of years, because I've been detecting sort of nitpicky, jobs-worthy, restrictive, let's keep the Sagittarius on their toes, which is not something I like to see for you, but sometimes the gates to what we, this is a channel message, the gates to what we want are annoying. In other words, sometimes you think, my God, do I really have to go through these hoops with this complete dick to get what I want? And the answer I fear at the moment is yes. Because for some reason, they have some power over you getting it. And also, if you can be patient, if you just keep, what's the word? You just keep on trucking. You just keep going towards something that you want. And you don't let it flare you up. And you don't push it too hard. You're just, that's, yep, I hear what you're saying. I understand this. I'm observing that. And yet, at the same time, I'm still here. You know, quietly, but determinately, but with determination, you keep going for what you want. Okay, Aquarius had a little bit of a reading like this, about keeping your eye on the prize or the target, whichever way it goes. There will be times, and there are times, and you've probably experienced them recently, where you're feeling caught up, restricted, a bit like an engine that's got no oil in it. You know, it hurts to keep going, but keep going you must, because it will be so worth it in the end. You're kind of overcoming your own mental limitations to get there. Yeah, God, interesting cards. You get the Four of Pentacles. Now this is what I call making bank. Sun in Capricorn. Okay, Capricorns are brilliant at slowly sticking with something, wearing it down, getting where they need to be, and then locking the door, sticking the money in the safe. That's it. We've, you know, mission accomplished. Steal some of that energy for yourself. this is about you making bank, unlocking the door. It may be about money. It may be about anything, you know. This is a general part of the reading. So whatever it means to you. But you also get the Judgment card. So for some of you, it's like this time it must be this way. This way? This way. So in other words, this may have happened to you before. There may have been a situation like this before, or even it's like a second time round of a situation where this happened to you with someone else, or you're like, not again, this is not happening again. Okay? I'm drawing a wiggly line. You can say that. I am drawing a wiggly line. Even a wiggly line is a boundary. Should we do your love reading? Okay, so I'm going to do love reading underneath these cards here. There will be an extended love reading for those of you that are really into the love reading, and that is the first link in the description box when we get to the end. Okay. Keep these cards in mind, because sometimes the general part of the reading really resonates with the love reading. What do we need to know about love and relationships for my lovely Sagittarians? Oh, way up. King of Cups, he's doing the rounds, actually. He's been in a lot of the monthly readings so far. I like this. King of Cups is somebody who can meet you at an emotional level. And in my experience, although you're not a water sign, so you're not all like dopey and romantic like we are, Sagittarians in relationships, sometimes friend relationships, platonic relationships, and nearly always love relationships, are looking for someone who can meet them at the very deep level that Sagittarians go to. And honestly, it's a difficult job for someone to do that, because many Sagittarians come across very confidently. There's an air of confidence, which I really like. And it's just luck. Sagittarians are born, even the nervous ones, with an air of confidence and with a good slice of luck. When they're handing out lucky pie, you got an extra slice. But that can make you seem like you don't need anyone, you know, and it can make you seem like you've got it all sorted. You come across as very capable, very confident, and it's hard for others to see what you might need or where they might fit in. King of Cups is the exception, because the King of Cups is almost like an emotional heart reader. So King of Cups can tune in to your wavelength. So this is someone who can tune into your wavelength, which is something I think you want. Oh yeah, there it is. 10 of Cups. Now I know it looks a bit schmaltzy, you know, it's all a bit white picket fence and 2.4 kids and all that. But if you can put that to one side, it's the 10 of freaking Cups. Swing! You've scored when you get the 10 of Cups. Mars in Pisces. So imagine that rainbow, like, and all bits of it go everywhere, and it's like a shimmer of glitter, like when somebody wins an award. That is Mars in Pisces, the 10 of Cups. All the power of Mars, which is a force, you know, that rules Aries. God of war, all that kind of stuff. And all that force goes into Pisces, who are the hopeless romantics, as I just said. We are. We're all like rose-coloured glasses and romance, and you put the phone down first and all that stuff. But this is like a Skittles factory. It's like, psh, taste the rainbow, okay? So King of Cups, 10 of Cups. That, my friends, is a very, very nice combination. I'm liking that for you. Yo. Did I say yo? Is it 1996? It could be. Wheel of Fortune. I was just excited because that's a great card to get as well. Okay. You may have to go outside your emotional comfort zone because you do have an emotional comfort zone, even though it looks like you don't. But this is lucky. It's time for you to have some luck. And I'm going to write that down because that's important. And I won't remember it. Because I feel like you've had a tricky 2 years and you're not, you know, when it comes to doing readings, you don't normally get the tricky readings as much. So I feel like it has been a tricky 2 years. And look, gosh, gorgeous, isn't it? Isn't it lovely? 6 of Swords. Now, however that looks, okay, and the Queen of Swords, that's interesting. Queen of Swords is always about boundaries. In some way, you have needed to express a boundary or will need to express a boundary, speak your truth, but you will be heard. It will be listened to. Maybe it wasn't in the past, maybe it wasn't before, whichever way, it will be listened to. When you get the 6 of Swords, it's like a taxi out of trouble. This is kind of a card of escape. But it's somebody helping you. There's always somebody rowing the boat in the 6 of Swords. Taking you along, bringing you through. Partner in crime, whatever you want to call it. It feels very supported though, and I really like that. Let's just get rid of me so I can show you the last 2 cards here. Nine of Pentacles. You get that card quite often. And in a way, I feel like you don't need it as much as other signs do. Yeah. 4 of Cups is at the bottom, so you may have been feeling emotionally meh, or you didn't know how to do something, you didn't know how to resolve something, or you didn't know how you felt about something. But it feels like an injection of rainbows, okay? It's luck, it's understanding, it's someone meeting you at your emotional level. There's love, there's this Wheel of Fortune, which can go either way, but it's showing you that rather than being on a meh level, luck is coming your way, okay? And that is really nice. The escape is possible, the route out is possible. Look out for full moons with this as well. But also you will need to express a boundary. And that is what the 9 of Pentacles is. This is a card I don't always feel you need. It's Venus in Virgo. It's telling you to feather your own nest first, to be independent. I've never met a Saggy that wasn't independent. So I don't think you always need it, but it's a reminder. Then we get the Knight of Cups, which is love offers coming in. And I love the way that this kind of bookends to the King, because he's looking the way of the King. Cheers, raising a glass to the King. And also you get the Page, you get the Knight, you get the Queen, you get the King. So there's a development, and I like that. And that development takes you from what could be a sort of, it's like a nothingness, to a cause for celebration and a revelation here. I like this for you, Saggy. In the extended reading, I'm going to do a whole load of cards about your person. I'm going to use a different deck. I'm going to almost start from scratch about your person. What do we need to know? What do we need to know about the relationship? How did they feel? What's the best way forward? And if we need to do any shadow work in that, we can do some shadow work in that if there are obstacles as well. So if you're curious, it's the first link in the description box. I love this reading for you, Saggy. And whatever you do, Saggy, don't go changing. I'll see you on the other side. Namaste.